Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket nines. In this hand, we have full table 10 and L. Mid position player open raises. He's got 13 hands on him. He's got little over 50 big blinds. He's playing 46-38 with the 0-3 bet percentage. Not surprised at the 3 bet percentage right now. He's had 5 opportunities, didn't take any of them. Most people play fairly tight with a 3 bet, but in this case, this player's playing fairly loose. When we look at his raise first in, he's got early position 2 out of 2 times. He's got 1 out of 1 from the button, then 0 out of 1 from the small blind, 0 out of 2 from mid position. I think he's opening fairly wide range. This is at 34.5, and this looks pretty big. Suited aces, suited kings, ace X hands, broadways, suited connectors, suited one gappers, pocket pairs. That could be it. He could be even stronger, more like up in the triangle area and less down in these low cards. I guess stronger is not necessarily the correct term, but bigger cards versus smaller cards. But it's still fairly big. And now it's on me. If I raise here, what hands do I think is going to continue with? What do I think he's going to call with? I don't know. Fold 3 bet stat. He's faced it twice and he hasn't folded yet. So it's possible that he would never fold. Our hand's kind of in the middle of his range. I'm not sure if I would necessarily 3 bet here. So if we look, that's our standard 3 betting range, and then we have a 3 bet or call range. I think we could kind of raise it with like some of these offsuit hands, but I mean nines is kind of at the top of our pocket pair range. I think versus an unknown, we could go ahead and raise just to see what he does. But with this stat, fold the 3 bet stat, I don't want to really take pocket nines in a big pot on this range. Yeah, if I raise, we're going to be raising up to about 10 big blinds here. 9 or 10 big blinds. If he calls that, we're going to be at about 40 big blinds in a pot of about 20. So it'd be like a 2 SPR pot. I'm not sure if I really want to take it. If he was a little bit shorter and got it down to closer to a 1 SPR pot, I think we're probably committed. We're going to be committed at that point. But I think with the 2 SPR pot, we could still fold. So our goal here is to try to get this guy's stack. And what's going to be a good way to do it? Maybe checking or maybe calling here. We expect him to c-bet the flop, and then we could execute. We don't know how much he bets, but we could see we only have 13 hands on him, so I think we could call or raise. In this case, I chose a call, hoping to flop and then take a flop anything. I mean, trips would obviously be great, but also 3 low cards, maybe a single high card and a couple low cards. Middle cards would likely be suitable, and there's always a chance that he's gonna hit big too, but he's got a big range. So I called. This is the 3 better call range, so that's what I'm working with. Flop comes down to 2-3-4. It is a little surprising that he did not bet here. It's a little surprising. He c-bets 100% of his hands. Now it's only 1 out of 1 times for both in position and out of position, and we only have 13 hands, but I do think this is a hand where he could have bet. He could have bet his ace high hands. So he could have bet all of these. I think he would have straights, maybe not. If he has like ace 5, I'm gonna say the straight is maybe at like 33%. That's probably okay. Sets, no, I think sets bet. 2 pair bet, over pair bets, top pair bets, I think. So let's get these colors here. think we have these no-made hands that are all checking. I kind of think open-ended straights would bet. Gut shots might not. Since they're not part of like the pairs and whatnot. So I think I'm a little surprised that he didn't bet. And yeah, I'm going to say I assumed he would have bet all of those aces. So let's take these hands out. And that leaves 71.3%. So I guess it is going to be the majority of hands that he ends up checking. Once he checks, I think we do attack. This is going to be he's missed it a huge amount of time. We're not even playing. I think we're going to be betting 100% of our range here. So you can have all of these overcards that are betting as well, and they are balanced by all of our pocket pairs. I think it's simple as that. He showed weakness. He has a lot of hands that miss. We bet. If he calls, he calls. We fire up second barrel. I guess unless like a 5 comes, because maybe he has an ace, but even with an ace, I think we fire. So I bet about 3.5. He calls. What does he call with? At this point, I think he calls with his middle pair, pocket, bottom pair, all of the gut shots. Maybe he calls with all of these. Nah, I'm gonna take some of these out. We're gonna take these. We're gonna leave those broadways, and then maybe leave those middle cards. No. We'll leave 8-6. Oh, hold on. We had all of those one card gut shots. We said we didn't want the aces in there, because we would have assumed he bet. Well, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. Let's leave him in there. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does call with all of his aces. And hope to catch a 5. Nah, I think most people are betting those. Let's get those out. That's going to change c-bet percentages, or his checking percentage anyways. So I don't think we were up at let's add these up again. I don't think we were at 71% once we fix those. 41%. Okay, 41% I think is a little bit better. We're going to take these out. We'll leave those. 31%. So he folds 25% of the time, maybe. But I think we're continuing, so I can't be scared of a queen. Yeah, queen's going to hit him somewhat, but I don't think we can be scared that it helped him at all. Villain checks. I think that's going to be 100% check for him. 100% check. Yeah, he's going to have top pair some of the time, so about 29% of the time, but he still has a bunch of hands that still miss. And I think we still follow up with a bet here. We don't let that. We shouldn't be scared of it. So we're looking at, our for value top pair, and then you've got some bluffs, but actually I don't even think all of these are bluffs. I'm going to say for value we've got like 10, 9, 8. I kind of think maybe his 5, 6s, and 7s could be check on this board, possibly, but no, I think we're betting not necessarily for value, but we're buying equity is what we're targeting. and we're still having all of these draws. So I still think we bet. We picked up a flush draw. We still have open-ender. We still have gut shots. Along with our pairs. We bet half pot. Now here's a case where I kind of feel like maybe we can go larger. But I think going larger builds a big pot. Is the larger bet going to get the same number of folds or the same number of calls when we're ahead as a smaller bet? And do we want those calls? I think the argument against the bigger bet is if we think villain's only going to be calling with a queen now, queen or an ace, we have to weigh how many aces he has versus how many queens he has, and I bet he has many more aces, many more aces than queens. But it looks like if we go for the gut shots, he doesn't really have a whole lot of aces. We had ace 2 and ace 3 in his range. I think that's probably okay. I think we're targeting the gut shots. That's what we're targeting. So it's about half and half. So I'm not sure if a larger size is okay. I think we can get a fold just as frequently with a larger bet as we can with a smaller bet. And I think getting more money is probably more important here. So half pot's probably okay, and he does call. So now we're still betting 100%. We continued with it. At this point, I kind of think he either doesn't believe us and he has one of these pairs, ace 2, ace 3, ace 4, king 2, king 3, king 4, or he has something like ace X, ace king, ace jack that decided not to c bet, and is hoping for that gut shot, or maybe like a 7-6, 8-6, or like 7-5. So let's go for here. I think he calls top pair. If he doesn't believe us, he's calling with a weak pair, and I'm sure he'll call with these gut shots probably. I think he's going to probably give up his. What happened to middle pair? Oh, top pair. I'm going to add. I want top pair in there. It's not very strong, but I do think we want top pair in there. So I think we're looking at that range that he's calling. So 36%, he's got top pair. So maybe we do go larger because I think he's going to call with a higher frequency. River's a 9. That's great. I don't think we need it. Could be mistaken. But villain checks again. I think that's pretty consistent with how he's playing. I don't expect him to bet. Maybe he bets top pair. And the question is, if he doesn't believe us, he doesn't believe us. He's going to call again. So we should bet. Should we go larger? Well, he's got 39. We could just shove and apply pressure. And if it's a thinking player, he's going to see, he realizes what we're doing. But at 10x, I think to me, that's a sign that somebody hit something big. Two pair, or he flopped the straight. I did half pot. I think that's kind of standard. If we get raised, we're just gonna call. And I think the half pot is somewhat consistent with 3-barreling, even as a 3-barrel bluff. The ace misses, the straight misses, the flush misses, and so forth. So I don't think we're gonna 3-barrel all of them. I think we 3-barrel the set. I think we 3-barrel the top pair. I think we have some value in just checking these middle pair hands, or these 1-pair hands. And then I think, actually, that's normally our checking range. then I think we can have like some of these bets, probably just a nothing. I think our ace high has some value. So just like this Jack 10 that we had, that hand we bluff with. So you can see where it's about a third or so. Less than a third is our bluff range. And that leaves the ace high as like a checking behind, taking the showdown. I think that's kind of what we're doing, how we're playing it. He calls because then when we look at what kind of hands does he call, he could have top pair. I think he could have weak pair. I don't think he's calling with nothing. So his weak pairs are all of those like ace 2, ace 3, or the 2, the 3s, the 4 hands. Ace 2, ace 3, ace 4, king 2, king 3, king 4. If he doesn't believe us, he's calling with all of those, and it's 50%. That would argue for a larger bet size if he is inelastic. So if he's going to call no matter what size I bet, then we go larger for this size. If he's going to start giving those up and only calling with the top pair with a larger size, then it starts arguing for maybe the smaller size. However, we do have king, queen, queen, jack. I mean, we have good kicker ourselves. So I think it's kind of like the larger size probably don't need to bluff as much at that point. Larger size, we do bluff because we want to get these out. Like with Jack 10, we want to get those pairs out because they currently beat us. So he does call. We're going to say he calls with that, with both of these. And he shows ace 7, which is ace high, and just really kind of surprises me that he called down with that. That's just, I don't have that in his range. I kind of assumed he would have continued firing, but we did go back and forth on, was he gonna just check with his ace 7, ace x hand, or would he have continued with his gut shot? It's kind of interesting to know. So he RF5 for in cutoff, or in MP to 2.8 big blinds with ace of hearts, 7 of diamonds. He's out of position, and then he check called 50%. Check call 50%. Check call 50%. On a 4 clubs, 3 of spades, 2 of diamonds, queen of diamonds, 9 of spades. That's pretty interesting. He check called all the way with just the ace, and then on the end he just had ace high. Gotta like some of these players. Would I have gotten the same call had I gone larger? I don't know. In any case, I think we could have tried larger. I'm curious to see what GTO would say. I'll start looking at some of the GTO and bet sizing a little bit later, in a few weeks or so. But for now, we're just reviewing hands. All right, hopefully you enjoy this. If you like this, if you like the saying, look tomorrow for another.